Okay, 7th grade, for today's activator on your Edpuzzle lesson, you've got the following prompt to reflect on in complete sentences. Think about yesterday when you took your end of module exam. Which of the following strategies did you use when you took your end of module exam? Did you use major key number 1? Did you annotate on the text? Major key number 2, pacing yourself. Process of elimination on the multiple choice and multiple select, or checking back over your work. Choose at least 2 of these, and I want you to answer the following. Why did you use this strategy? That's question number 1. How did it help you on the text? That's question number 2. I'd like you to answer in 3 to 4 complete sentences. For each of these, I want you to flip the question. So the first strategy that I used was, I used this because it helped me by. The second strategy I used was, it helped me because. 4 minutes is going on my timer, and begin. Okay, and that's time. So for up here, you should have again chosen at least 2 of these that you might have used on yesterday's test. You should have explained in 3 to 4 complete sentences both why you used the strategy and how it helped you on the test. If you did each of those, then you were able to earn on 100 on today's activator. So good job to you. Alrighty, our objective today is I can analyze or like kind of break down. I can break down questions from the end of module test by using the 5 steps of question analysis. So I know that we've used this before on an Edpuzzle lesson, I think once or twice before, and why I really like the 5 steps is because it helps you to think back through the actual test, and you're able to think back through those answers and sort of think through what you might have missed and why. So today's lesson, you're going to have the chance to be able to go back through multiple questions that you missed. You're going to choose 6. Now, there might have been more than 6 that you actually missed, and that's okay, but I'm going to have you choose 6. Once you've sort of gone through, in a minute here, I'm going to show you what the answer key was. Then you're going to be looking back through. Before we do that, though, let's go ahead and go over and review quickly the 5 steps of question analysis so that we make sure we're all on the same page. This is just a quick comic. You can read over it. But let's go ahead and flip to the next page. Some of you might already remember this. This should be familiar by this point. But the quick 5 steps of question analysis that we've done before. Step 1, the first thing you're going to do when you get to the practice part today is you're going to identify the key, write down the 2 to 3 keywords in the question. Words like analyze, words like theme, words like best. Those keywords that stick out to you that really help you know what the question's asking. The second step, so that's step 1. You're going to put a check mark next to it once you do it. Step 2 is going to be question type. Talked about this before. You're going to decide whether the question is multiple choice, whether there's one answer, or multiple select, whether there's 2 answers. And there were multiple questions yesterday that were multiple select, that were asking you to choose multiple answers. So that should be a red flag if you ever see choose 2. All right, so that's going to be step 2, question type. Step 3 is called, what is the question asking? You're going to paraphrase or put in your own words what the question's asking. You're literally going to copy this sentence stem. It's already started there actually for you on the next page. The question is asking me to choose the best piece of evidence to support the theme. Or the question is asking which is the best summary of the passage. Whatever it might be, put it in your own words. Do not just copy the question. This helps you to understand what the question's asking. Step 4 is wrong answers. This is where you've actually got to look back over the answer choices and list 2 that are wrong. You need to choose 2 answer choices that are wrong and write the letter of those 2 answers down. Now, you don't necessarily need to explain why they're wrong because you're going to get to that in step 5. Step 5 is called ITAB. ITAB is called is the answer because. So you're going to then say, you're going to explain why you chose the answer that you did. So an example of what this should not look like is you should not be saying B is the answer because it's the right answer. Or B is the answer because it's the best answer. I will not give you credit for that. You need to be explaining like B is the best piece of answer because in that answer choice it says this. Or B is the best piece of answer because in the passage it was talking about. Refer it back to the passage if you can. All right, so once you've completed the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps of question analysis, you're done and you're good. Each of these should take you maybe about like 4 minutes to complete. You don't want to be rushing through, but you also want to make sure that you are pacing yourself. All right, so right now, let's go ahead and go down here, and I'm going to fill in the answer key for the end of module test. So as I fill in what the answers actually were to yesterday's test, I want you to be filling it in on your own sheet of paper as well. Number 1 was B. Number 2 was a multiple select, so it was A and E were the 2 answers. Number 3 was D. Number 4 was B. Number 5 was D. Number 6 was A. Number 7 was D. Number 8 was A. Stay with me. Number 9 was D. Let me make sure you can still see. Okay. Come over here to number 10. Number 10 was C. Number 11, two answers, B and E. Number 12 was A. Number 13 was D. Number 14 was D. Number 15 was B. Number 16 was, make sure you can still see. All right, we're good. Number 16 was A and B. Number 17 was B and C. Number 18 was D. Number 19 was A. Number 20 was D. 21 C. 22 D. 23 B. And the last two C and D. So now you have your answer key for yesterday's end of module test. Now you don't have your bubble sheet, so obviously you can't go back and change anything. But what I'm going to have you do right now is that I'm going to have you look over the test. So at this time, go ahead and take out your end of module test from yesterday. Should have your name on the front. If not, that's a problem. All right, go ahead and flip to the next page. Now, here's what I would do if I were you, because there were multiple passages in this text. There was passage 1, Gandhi's letter to President Roosevelt. There was then text number 2, the selfish giant. And then there was text number 3, this sort of speech here at the end by Senator Joseph McCarthy. What I'm going to have you do right now is I want you to look over your answer key, and I want you to take the answer key. I want you to take 1 minute, and what I want you to do is I want you to circle or mark with a little dot questions you might have gotten wrong. Now, again, end of module is tough. I don't expect that you got all the questions right, or even necessarily 20 out of 25. But go ahead and put a mark next to questions that you got wrong. Compare it to your answers on the test. Look back through to see what you circled on your test, and mark the questions that you got. 30 seconds. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to block off the questions based on the passage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line right here. Questions numbered 1 through 7 was over text 1. Questions number 8 through, let's see here, questions number 8 through 15. Remember, 16 was just that question that doesn't matter what you picked. So this one I'm not even going to worry about. Question number 8 through 15 was over text 2. And questions 17 through 25 were over text 3. So when you look at your 3 sections, text 1, text 2, text 3, and if I'm going to spend time doing question analysis, I'm going to choose the text where I missed the most questions. So if I missed maybe 4 out of these 7, maybe I'm going to do 4 from here. If I missed 6 out of 7 on text 1, I'm definitely going to go back and I'm going to reread text 1. I'm going to start doing question analysis over those. Or maybe text 3, that speech by Senator McCarthy, was the one where I struggled the most. Whatever it is, text 1, text 2, text 3, I want you to go ahead and flip there in your packet so that you can see that you're going to be focusing in on that text during today's lesson. Go ahead and flip there now. All right. So wherever you flip to in your text, maybe you're on Gandhi's letter to President Roosevelt, maybe you're on text 2, The Story by Oscar Wilde, or maybe you're on text 3, That Speech by Senator McCarthy. You're going to start doing your 5 steps of question analysis. So again, I'm going to flip over, and my directions say use the 5 steps of question analysis from your notes. Some of you were asking me last time. So if you need to, flip back here to review, obviously, what the 5 steps are. Use this as your key to help you as you go through the lesson today. Whatever question number you're working on, that's what you need to be putting here. So if you're starting with question 7, you're going to be writing question 7. Step 1 is keywords. So I would need to look into the question and say, okay, the keywords were evidence, theme, and blah, 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 whatever it might be. And I'm going to keep following those 5 steps. The most important part down here is going to be your explanation. So I'm really looking for you to clarify and get right in your own head what the correct answer was and why. So you need to be carefully looking back at the text. You need to be carefully looking back at the other answer choices, seeing why you missed it, and then explaining. So right now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to set the timer for about 10 minutes. Over these 10 minutes, you should have, by the end of these 10 minutes, you should have finished your 5 steps of question analysis for 1, 2, and on the next page, 3 and 4 questions. Choose your 4. 10 minutes is starting on the timer, and begin. Okay, and at this time you should have completed, you can check yourself through, with our criteria for success. If you went through each of the 5 steps, so as you go back to your notes here, and if you completed step 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 fully with a detailed explanation that referred back to the text, then you would have received that 100. So you should have completed that for 1, 2, and as you flip to the next page, 3 and 4 of the question. So hopefully so far you were able to do that for 4 to help you better understand what the correct answers were and why, but also to help you better understand what the text was actually talking about. Now, as we head into our last sort of 10 minutes, your exit ticket's going to basically be a continuation of your independent practice. Again, the directions say use the 5 steps to break down 2 more questions to arrive at the correct answer. So this time, if you want to continue with 2 questions that were from the same text that you were doing the 5 steps for from before, totally fine. If you want to choose 2 other questions that you know you struggled with, you may go ahead and do that at this time as well. But as we head into the exit ticket portion, you should be checking over to make sure your packet is fully completed. I'm going to be coming around to give that 100-point grade on the spot. So double check to make sure your packet is fully completed, and then just go ahead and raise your hand if you are finished early. So as we head into this last portion, I'm going to set about 7 minutes for you to complete 2 more 5 steps of question analysis, giving you about 3 minutes for each question. 7 minutes is on the timer, and begin. Go. So continue to work. You've got about 5 minutes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and pause here. If you need more time, go ahead and take it, but that is the end of our Edpuzzle lesson for today.